Well, good morning. What I'm going to share on today is I wasn't blessed with this recently, but I've been going through a Bible plan. Don't usually do a Bible plan, but I started one, and I've been super blessed by going through it, because I usually just kind of go through the New Testament, find parables and stuff like that to think on and stuff like that, but I've been going through Old Testament, and super good. And I went through Nehemiah, and I read it, and I was like, wow, this is actually it's really inspiring. His life is so inspiring. And then I was like, I'll just put that in my back pocket, so if I ever kind of need that to share on anything, I'll use that. And so I thought I was going to do an opening, so I pulled that out. And it's going to do a little back. I just want to, most of you have probably read Nehemiah more times than I have, but a little background on Nehemiah. He was in a really messy time. Jerusalem was in shambles. There was not an ounce of glory in Jerusalem. And so he was in a low point, and I'm not going to read too much because I will take up 2 hours if I read the whole thing. So, some brethren came from Jerusalem and were telling him about how it's in shambles and all that. And I got a couple of points I want to share on. So, Nehemiah was a man of prayer. So, the instant they told him about the shambles and it was just in a terrible state, he says in chapter 1, verse 4, "And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven." So right away, he gets this really bad report, doesn't sit around moping. He just goes straight to God, starts praying. And I just want to point out something in his prayer in verse 7. "We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept thy commandments, nor thy statutes, nor thy judgments, which thou commandest thy servant Moses." It's a really beautiful prayer. So, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he just right away puts it that they're the ones that are at fault. He just tells God, we did not do anything good, and really, really blessed prayer. And chapter 2, verse 4, another one, and this is all about he's a man of prayer. Verse 4. "Then the king said unto me, For what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven." Kind of like Queen Esther, he went before the king, and he was going to ask the king for to go to his homeland and rebuild. And he was really nervous and scared. But right away, when the king asked him, "What do you make request?" he just right away, just a prayer to God. And it was really blessing. He just right away, bang, prayer. And chapter 4. Verse 7. Actually, 8. Verse 8. "And this is two people were conspiring against him, and conspired all of them together to come and fight against Jerusalem and hinder it. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night because of them." They were going to get fought, and right away he prays. They pray about it. It's a real blessing. And another point I want to, his life is, he was a man of faith. Chapter 1, verse 10. This is in his prayer. He's talking to God. "Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power and by thy strong hand." He just knows that. He's like, you have redeemed us. They haven't even rebuilt Jerusalem. They're still in a low point, but he's still just like, you have done this for us. And he just reaching out in faith there. And chapter 2, verse 20. Then answered I them and said unto them, The God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we as servants will arise and build. So, he knows that God will prosper them. It hasn't even happened yet. Well, kind of. They've been working there a little bit, but he knows it, and he's just going by faith. And chapter 4, verse 20. This and a little bit of context here. They were going to get fought. This is still from back in verse 9 there. And they were in a pretty bad spot. And he's, in what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. Our God shall fight for us. He just knows it. He's like, our God will do this. He 100% steps out in faith. Another point I want to bring out is he was a man of courage. Chapter 6, verse 11. And I have to give context because if I read these whole things, it's going to be a long time. So this is the same guys again, or actually quite a few people. They were conspiring against him. They were trying to make him, they were sending messages and stuff like that. And they were actually considering killing him. And so here he's talking, they wanted him to go into the temple and shut the doors so that they couldn't kill him. And here he just shows how courageous he was. He's like, and I said, should such a man as I flee, and who is there that being as I am should go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. He trusts God, and he just goes. He's like, no, I will not go in there. And chapter 4, verse 14. You can put these in order. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your house. Super courageous. He just rises up and he's like, let's do this. God is with us, and let's fight. And he's a really awesome character. And one more, a man of action. He was a man of action. He took that all and he acted on it. So 1 verse 4 again. I already read this one, but it just shows how he acted. And came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Right away when he heard this bad news, he doesn't just sit around and mourn. He prayed, he fasted, he right away acts on that. He's going to go straight to God. And chapter 5, I think it is. And a little bit of context here. I think this was in between. It was Jews against Jews. They had been sold kind of into captivity, so slavery, and it was not going so well. They were in a really low spot. They were building already, but they were still really low. And here it shows he gets told about it, and I was very angry when I heard their cry and these words. Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers and said unto them, ye exact usury, every one of his brother, and I set a great assembly against them. He heard about this, bang, right away. He was like, he just goes to them. He was, right away acts on it. He doesn't hope someone else is going to act on this. So I was just really blessed by his character. It's kind of like character study. There's a lot more. So if you ever want to do that, you could. It would be a really good book to read through. So.